Attack on Titan, Season 3, Episode 11. So this episode of Attack on Titan, we're getting some backstory on Eren's father. We're also seeing some stuff going on with the kingdom. We're seeing that Historia is basically taking all the kids and adopting them into her like little farmhouses or something. But Eren's starting to remember stuff that Historia and Historia's dad kind of jogged his memory of a guy who knew Eren's father. And Eren gets some touching moments from his mom, and it was a very really sweet little episode. I mean, we're learning more and more about Eren's dad, and if they somehow are able to plug Malvia, and they also are getting more weapons to fight Titans using Eren's power. So this is a very interesting episode. Doctor Who, Series 11, Episode 5. Alright, so this episode of Doctor Who, the Doctor and the companions are in this little junkyard, a sonic grenade goes off, and they all get sent to this hospital transport spaceship. So basically what's happened is there's this monster that's on the ship, and the Doctor and his companions along with the members of the crew have to find a way to get this alien off the ship so they can all make it to their destination. Alright, there were some weird little sci-fi things in there, like there was a guy pregnant. That's right, a guy was pregnant and he was having a baby. It was some funny moments. The Doctor is like, there was a funny little Hamilton joke where she tells the one girl, she said, "Come up with a number," and she says 51. 51, good number. 51's a great number. The 51 pages of Alexander Hamilton. Love that play. I've seen all 900 casts, and you know, that's very funny moment. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It's a little cool sci-fi episode, and that's one thing I like about the season. Each episode is its own little thing, and I'm curious to see what happens next. Arrow, Season 7, Episode 4. Alright, so this episode of Arrow, we're basically seeing Oliver Queen is being tortured by a psychologist, where basically the psychologist is like, "You've made a bunch of mistakes in your life. Who are you? You're not Oliver Queen. You're inmate 4587, or whatever the hell his name is." Meanwhile, at Star City, we're seeing Dinah and basically team up with the new Green Arrow to stop some arsonists in the town, and basically Dinah's realizing from lessons she learned from Captain Lance that in order to defeat the enemy, sometimes you gotta break some rules. Also, we're seeing Felicity team up with Laurel, and they're coming up with a plan to try to get Diaz. And then in the future storyline, basically Roy and William have returned to Star City, where they basically they found out like Felicity's dead. She left some kind of secret for him. So some interesting stuff is going on in the future part of the story. I'm kind of curious where that's headed. Overall, very interesting episode, and the future storyline is what I find the most fascinating this season. Legends Tomorrow, Season 4, Episode 3. So this episode of Legends Tomorrow, they travel back to the 1970s where punk rock is a day in London. Basically, there's this magical creature who can shapeshift into other people, and basically the shapeshifting monster shapeshifts into the Queen and causes a turmoil in British history. So Ray goes into this little punk rock band to try to figure out what's going on. He finds a kindred spirit, and he finds that the creature is not such an evil creature. She just doesn't want to go to hell. Meanwhile, Nate's still trying to get over Amaya and some other things going on around there. So this is a very interesting episode of Legends Tomorrow. I very enjoyed this episode. I'll be curious what happens with this. I guess we have Amaya back in the show, kinda, but I mean, it's not the real Amaya because it's just someone that looks just like Amaya, but it's the actress who played Amaya, so yeah. House of Cards, Season 6. Alright, so let's talk about House of Cards Season 6. Okay, so I love House of Cards. First 4 seasons are really good. Season 1 and Season 2, I mean, really create this whole thing with this whole streaming service television network that we see. And then Season 3 I thought was okay. It was trying to find itself after, you know, doing something different with Season 4. Season 4 I thought is brilliant. Season 5 is just, it was okay. I was like, okay, maybe we need to start wrapping this up. Then all the stuff that went down with Kevin Spacey this past year. Kick Kevin Spacey off of the show. His character is dead. Now we have Claire Underwood as the main lead of the show. I have to say, I enjoyed the season a lot more than I thought I was going to. Main problems I had with the season was it felt a little rushed. I liked some of the things that was going on this season. Claire Underwood, I mean, I didn't like her in season 5. When she looks at the camera and says, it's not that I didn't know you were there, it's just I don't always agree with you. I didn't like her character last season, but this 6th season, I really liked her. She was very Michael Corleone this season. She felt like a mobster when she takes out 3 of her competitors that were going after her. That felt very similar to like what I saw from like a crime film from The Godfather or something. I thought she was very savage in that moment, and I really enjoyed her character in this season and in the stuff going on with Doug. So guys, I enjoyed the season of House of Cards. I'll talk more about it later you check out the full review right now. Riverdale season 3 episode 4. Alright, so this episode of Riverdale, it's a flashback episode. So this episode of Riverdale, it's basically Betty is confronting her mom about the Griffins and Gargoyles game, and it basically takes us back to, I guess, the 80s, where they were knocking off the Breakfast Club, where you have 6 kids in detention, find friendship between all 6 of them, and they start playing Griffins and Gargoyles or something. So this episode is very knock-on, very some like 80s films like The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, a little bit. It had that very 80s feel to it, and you had all the actors who plays the characters in the show. Like you have Betty, she plays Betty's mom. You have Veronica plays her mom. It's just all the actors who are the parents. The kids play their parents. So it was very interesting, and you're seeing some things going on, some just kind of the origins of this game. It was a very, very interesting episode of Riverdale, I have to say. Just that you're just like, well, okay, so one of these 8 people killed the former principal, and maybe he's back at it again, or maybe it's the son of something. So I guess we'll find out sooner or later. I mean, this is a good little mystery. I'm liking it so far. Survivor, David versus Goliath, episode 7. Alright, so this episode of Survivor, it's the merge, and you know what that means? Well, the tribes come together, they merge, obviously. That's what that means. So basically this episode, it's still David versus Goliath. We're trying to figure out what's going on. 3 Goliaths and 3 Davids have a plan to come together and basically form the super alliance called Task Force. That's not what they're called, but the Christian came up with the name. He's like, we come together as some kind of task force and take out everyone. We get to see the Mason-Dixons together again. He also combines the rock stars, the Gabby and Christian alliance. It's a perfect alliance, and also that blonde lawyer chick that we barely know anything about. Basically, they all are. So this is basically an easy vote. Everyone's like, well, let's get rid of Elizabeth. She's an easy first vote. That one girl who last week she gets, she kind of goes crazy and tells Elizabeth, if you're going home, Elizabeth tries to blow it up. It looks like it's going that way, but then there's just like, no, Elizabeth, you need to get on down the road. So that was the episode of Survivor. I'm really waiting for the candle to drop and for the season to get really interesting. The Big Bang Theory, season 12, episode 8. So this episode of The Big Bang Theory, basically what's happened is Raj and his fiance is getting ready to have sex for the first time. The funniest part of the whole episode was whenever she says, hey, and he's like, and I was just like, oh, it's his muteness return, I guess, when he gets really nervous. So it was a really great callback to that moment. Also, Leonard's nostalgia the first time he had sex with Penny. So that's a funny part of the episode. Sheldon's trying to bond with Amy's family. And it's always great to see Kathy Bates in the show. So this is a very funny episode, and I enjoyed it. Young Sheldon, season 2, episode 8. So this episode of Young Sheldon, basically what's happened is Meemaw has bought a Sega Genesis probably, or it's some kind of old 80s video game system, and basically her and Sheldon are playing the game and they're trying to beat the quest, and it shows why Sheldon has such a love for video games and become an all-around nerd. And the funny part is the game where it's like, what now? And Meemaw's like, I guess we go back to our normal lives. Or we go to the store and buy a new game. And then we also see Georgie is finding his love for tires and auto mechanics, which is when he becomes Dr. Tire in the Big Bang Theory. So this was a very interesting episode of Big Bang Theory. And guys, that ends another episode of the TV Recap. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. So guys, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button, subscribe, see more, tell your friends about Easy Nation. Oh.